Bitcoin is not cryptocurrency. I'll say that again. Bitcoin is not cryptocurrency. You see, words and the interpretation of words are very powerful. We clearly see that in today's woke society. The financial media has been doing a terrible job at explaining Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. To understand why Bitcoin is not cryptocurrency, one must first understand what money is. And of course, you must understand what Bitcoin is. So you have to ask yourself, what is Bitcoin? Because the answer to this is absolutely critical. In today's video, we're going to discuss why Bitcoin is not cryptocurrency and the importance of Bitcoin. Double O.
Woo!
Yes, sir. Hey, look.
Tell them.
We live in a very interesting time, man. And I think that we're going through a massive, what would you say, revolution?
Mm-hmm.
And whether people believe it or not, I think that this is the reality. And it would suck to see a lot of people get left behind because this is happening very fast. And a lot of people are not up to speed on what is happening. But that's okay, because that's why we are here.
They're busy waiting for a formal education controlled by the system. For the system.
I wonder who made them think that way.
Not for the people.
Exactly.
Whoa.
I wonder who made them think that way, right?
Yeah.
Look, Bitcoin obviously came about, where was it, around 2008 when we had that financial crash situation, right?
Yeah, right
And
after the financial crash.
Exactly. And I think to understand what Bitcoin is trying to do and the purpose of Bitcoin, first of all, you must ask yourself, as we mentioned at the beginning, what is Bitcoin? And of course, to understand what money is. And we'll dive deeper into that. But at a very basic level, we all know that Bitcoin is blockchain technology.
Yes.
Give us some details on this here.
We are going to keep it simple so that you'll understand it and you don't have to go sit down in some cryptography class or go take a blockchain class to understand what is going on here with Bitcoin. So the first thing that Brazen just said is that Bitcoin is a blockchain technology. So you ask yourself, what's a blockchain technology? So here's a simple definition of blockchain. A blockchain is a decentralized ledger of all transactions across a peer-to-peer network. Let's go ahead and break that down a little bit real quick. Decentralized ledger. Let me explain that really quickly. If you do accounting, if you ever had a business, if you ever put your money in the bank, that is basically how those systems are managed. It's a ledger of transactions. You put money in, you take money out. If you're a business, you make profit, you make losses, you keep track of that. But guess what? Those are centrally controlled on one network, on one software, on one system. But in the blockchain, it's controlled and managed through peer-to-peer networks, right? The networks could be digital, they could be physical, but it's peer-to-peer network, right? And if you and I are transacting within that network, right, you do not need any centralized authority. You do not need the bank to say, oh, I need to go to my bank now to collect my money because the bank has my money. No, the bank is in the blockchain environment, it's peer-to-peer. Your money is your money. It's always your money. Nobody's controlling when you can access, how much you can access, how much you can take, how much you can give. That's basically what the blockchain technology is. It's that simple. Now there's the technological aspect of how it's secure, how it's faster, and all that good stuff. We'll not jump into that. Let's just go ahead and keep it simple.
Absolutely. I think that is very important for people because this blockchain stuff is very complicated. And when we talk about Bitcoin, I usually like to refer to it as trade by barter in the most sophisticated way possible. Right? You can look at it as modern day trade by barter, being able to transact with others peer-to-peer, trustless. This means that nobody's verifying it, like you said, right? I think that is the equivalent of me exchanging an apple for an orange back in medieval times.
Yeah. When you say nobody, it's verified by tens of thousands of nodes.
Well,
but
when I say nobody, it's more so without the trust of anyone. It means that you don't have to go through that third-party intermediary, like you said, right? Because with the system right now, you have to trust the bank.
You have to trust the government,
right? You have to trust the bank. You have to trust the government, and at the same time, these are the exact same entities where everyone is like, we don't trust them. So why do you keep playing in this system?
They can wake up tomorrow and say, I can't send you money. And I'm like,
exactly.
I have no issues with Brazen. Why are you telling me I can send him money?
It could all come down crashing tomorrow, man. Now, here's the thing. What is cryptocurrency? I think it's good for us to get a good understanding of this one.
All right. Now, I will repeat. I did not pass my cryptography class, but cryptography is not cryptocurrency.
Hey, listen, man. I know people who pass the cryptography class.
Hey, we know somebody that passed that class. That guy is super smart.
Yes,
but that said, though, let's go ahead and break it down here. It's a medium of exchange created and stored electronically in the blockchain, right? We just explained what a blockchain is, right? But now this is the medium of exchange. So just like in the internet, there's something called the TCP/IP protocol using the OSI model. That is how basically you and I use the internet today, right? There are other protocols that allows us to use the internet or transact on the current internet that we have now. But this is another one of those things, right? So this is another medium of exchange. But this time around, it's true. It has encryption technologies and techniques to make sure that when you and I are transacting in this peer-to-peer environment, it's safe. The only difference now is this. There's no central control of that transaction, right? If you and I are transacting through the internet right now, we have to be on somebody's network, we have to be on somebody's server, and that transaction have to go through that. But with Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, right, this is where you start seeing the difference. Bitcoin, you have tens of thousands of nodes that verify the transactions to say, hey, now we have one Bitcoin. In cryptocurrencies, you still have that central control.
Yeah, it's a centrally controlled situation, right? All being done on someone's server. It could be, AWS or wherever it is, but it's not a decentralized thing like with Bitcoin, where you can run a node, I can run a node, everyone can run a node for Bitcoin, and it's not going to be that costly.
Yeah,
I think that's what makes it beautiful too.
There are different levels to that decentralization, right?
Right.
At the core level, Bitcoin is decentralized all the way.
Right.
On cryptocurrencies like Ethereum, they are decentralized in terms of the blockchain, but they're not decentralized in terms of the network or the means of transportation.
That is a good one. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of people kind of just jump into the crypto space, right? Or into Bitcoin to make money. I think I don't want to dismiss that, right? Because we have some points here about what Bitcoin is, right? To help you understand better. Now, first, Bitcoin is not about making money, and it's not a get rich quick scheme. We've heard this over and over, right? Over the years. I think, first of all, the biggest thing is that we all need to really take a step back and understand what it is Bitcoin is trying to solve. It's the same thing when you invest in the stock market, right? Before you invest in a company, you want to do your due diligence. You want to check, is this company profitable? Are they in massive debt, right? You want to look at their balance sheet, right? Debt to asset ratio, right? If you want to look at it that way. In the same way, you want to look at Bitcoin. What is this providing? What is it we're trying to solve? There's a lot of blockchain technology out there right now.
The fundamental analysis.
Fundamental analysis. You know what is interesting? Yesterday, actually, we were on the Gentlemen of Crypto show.
Love those
incredible guys, right? And Crypto Blood, also a YouTuber, was on the show, and I was sharing my technical analysis on Bitcoin with them. And at the end of it, Crypto Blood said something. He said, fundamental analysis is the steering wheel, and technical analysis is the gas pedal.
Say that again, sir.
Fundamental analysis is the steering wheel, okay? And technical analysis is your gas pedal. It tells you when to get in. It tells you when to buy at the best price. All of that good stuff. Or if you're trying to collect profit. So my point here is that, listen, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. And this is for the folks that want to make money. But still, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme.
Absolutely.
It's not that, I invested $100 in Doge and they made $1 million tomorrow.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen that way.
Absolutely. So it's like, when Bitcoin, in the design of Bitcoin, they have what is game theory, right? And this is this idea of doing things for a reward, right? And so you're going to make money in Bitcoin. That is a given. It is not a problem, right? But I think it's about taking it a step further and thinking a bit deeper. So if you buy Bitcoin, you absolutely make money But you also have to look at when you buy Bitcoin, what are you saying? It's something that you have to look into. And to understand that, you have to understand what Bitcoin is trying to solve. What are the big problems that we have in our society today? Is speed the problem? I don't know, what are these other blockchains offering, right? Decentralized finance and all these other things. These are things that can be done on Bitcoin itself. But even more importantly, Bitcoin is changing the face of money as we know it, right? If you look at the dollar, which is where we stand right now, this is the stem of a lot of our problems. And this is something I'd like to be able to look into. Exactly. How do we fix money is the big question. And if we can understand that, then we can see where Bitcoin is coming through with all of these solutions.
What's the main purpose for making all that money, right?
Mm-hmm.
You make all that good money, but then you can't spend it. It can get seized, right? Or you can't even enjoy it.
Absolutely.
That's where Bitcoin comes into play.
Absolutely.
Make that money, but enjoy your life with that money.
Absolutely.
Live
look,
freely.
this is, what is the most devalued currency right now in the world? Probably Venezuela's currency.
Sure. That's the African country that is.
There, right. So let's say take one country where the value is absolutely trash, right? And someone is selling the US dollars to buy a trash currency, a devalued currency. Would you do that? No. It's the same thing with Bitcoin, right? Yes, we want to collect profits, but why would you collect profits into a currency that is losing value when you can transact in the more profitable currency which you already have in your possession? It's something to think about, right?
Sure.
So moving on then, Bitcoin is American as fuck. Double O.
As fuck. Yeah, so that goes to that question you just asked earlier. Again, this is what set Bitcoin different. Set Bitcoins apart. It's
right.
The fundamental purpose or mission of Bitcoin is freedom. And freedom, when you hear freedom is synonymous to America. That's basically what America is.
Yeah.
I am able to be on this show and talk the way I talk now because I live in America.
Yep.
If you live anywhere else around the world, they might just come knocking at the door and take you to prison and whoop the heck out of your butt. But that is the freedom that Bitcoin gives you. It goes as far as you and I, as we sit here, we work and we put our resources and our time. And when we do that, that gets converted into what? Guess what? Currency. The currency that we've decided to use in the United States of America is the US dollar. But guess what? That is under major control by the big banks, the world banks, the federal banks, your government, which has been influenced by the banks, and the banks themselves. They tell you how much you can take out, when you can take it out, and all that stuff. Where is the freedom? America is slowly, day by day, losing its freedom by the rules and regulations that get created by those in government that have been influenced by the banks. And what Bitcoin is trying to solve is exactly that, is that you and I can wake up in the morning, go to work, and store that energy, that's what we've created, into this digital currency, that no one can now wake up one day and say, oh, we're going to increase interest rates. Deflationary, inflationary impacts. We borrow your money, we got to charge you this much interest. Oh, guess what now? You got to pay taxes.
Taxes on money that you've been taxed on when you got paid the money. And then you pay taxes on that money when you buy anything. Then you have to file taxes later on in the year to pay taxes on the money that you've already paid taxes on, which taxes were charged on when they gave you the money from your job in the first place.
That's a rap song right there.
Listen, the album is coming out soon. It's called Taxes. Hey, listen, there's two things I want to point out here, man. You said something very interesting, that America is slowly losing its freedom. I agree. You remember when I moved here to DC, and I've been saying this to you multiple times, see how this side of the country is less free than Texas. So if you live in Texas, shout out to you, but you should pay attention, because when those changes come through, you probably will not notice it either. Right? And it's something that I've been able to see just because I changed my environment and I saw the change, right? If you're in it, you don't see it. The second thing I also point out is the inflation and adjustment of rates and things like that, manipulation of the economy, if you will, right? So when everyone has to sit around and wait on Jerome Powell to come out and tell everyone what is going to happen with their money, essentially, I think that is a problem. We have, you could say, we've created ourselves a god, right? And now they will do whatever they want with the money. Bitcoin takes us out of that situation, right? And I don't know who's not going to want to remove themselves from that situation, but I know I definitely want to. Now, this is what we've been talking about here. Bitcoin addresses the problems that exist with money, right? Corruption, centralized control of your store of value, seizure of assets, carbon emissions. I know people are going to be like,
again.
what the heck?
Carbon emissions.
Bitcoin is good for the environment. I'll say that right now. Okay, and I'll say it again. Bitcoin is actually good for the environment. If you look at it, Bitcoin can improve everything that we're currently trying to do to improve the environment. Listen, we're going to be doing some extensive writing on this coming soon. But
watch out for that. You know what?
Exactly.
I just thought of something that we needed to add to that since we have that war going on with Russia and Ukraine. It fixes the military industrial complex.
Absolutely. Because now you have to manage your assets instead of burning them in war. We know war is very expensive.
Print the money out so that we can blow people up.
Yeah, absolutely. Because
good.
the reality is, if we are operating in a positive budget, right? I don't think there's any way anyone can afford war.
Not at all.
Yeah, especially at the magnitude of war these days and the equipment that is used, the amount of research and things that goes into the amount of investment that goes into killing people that really haven't done anything to you, because at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of leaders with their egos arguing, and now everyone has to fight.
Guess what? To add to that, right?
Right.
Not just the money and the people, but also the currency that it involves to go into those wars. Exactly.
So it's a look, man. Bitcoin is the ultimate form of money. It is the superior form of money. I mean, even Fidelity came out with an article. No, it wasn't just an article. They came out with a whole research paper on Bitcoin, explaining how Bitcoin is a superior asset. I mean, if that doesn't say it all, what else?
Fidelity did that. BlackRock just did that.
BlackRock, yeah. Absolutely.
PwC did something similar. I think that's where we got one of these images from.
Yeah.
They know.
Oh, of course they know.
And they're starting to adopt.
I was speaking with someone. I was actually speaking with someone. I don't know if it was on public or on Twitter, and they're anti-Bitcoin type people. I think they listen to Dave Ramsey. Don't get me wrong. I love Dave Ramsey, but Dave Ramsey doesn't like Bitcoin either. And I told him, like, hey man, I don't. We're kind of going back and forth on this thing here, but there are people out there who are extremely smart. You have people like Jack Dorsey, you have people like Elon Musk, and these people think it's a good idea to hold Bitcoin. So why would I argue with a guy on Twitter who I don't think that is on that level of understanding of Bitcoin, but they think they can tell me that Bitcoin is a scam. It's a get-rich-quick scheme, right? And so, and this is the thing. I think that, and this is not to bash people that are not into Bitcoin, because at the end of the day, whenever people say something, you have to look at their side of the story, understand what it is that they're trying to say. And I have to say, so far, man, it does not make sense. So it's something to think about.
I can say this, though. You should ask yourself, when was the last time Bitcoin got hacked? Or if it ever got hacked? Ethereum, this year alone, has been hacked 2022, almost $1 billion, 700 something plus $1 million.
Yeah,
of the Ethereum-based networks.
Ethereum has definitely gotten the shakedown. All these blockchains.
It's a super early stage technology. We know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're not telling you not to invest in it.
Well, if we're looking at the track record of inconveniences that Ethereum has come through compared to Bitcoin, looking at the space of time, Bitcoin is clearly winning. That's for sure. I mean, people can, if you want to change Bitcoin, that's fine. You can do that. People have done it. That's why there's Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV, Bitcoin whatever. All sorts of Bitcoins out there. But there is only one, which keeps holding. So, what do you say to that? Look, this is an interesting time. We are seeing innovation and money systems converging into one medium. It's powerful, wouldn't you say?
Black and white.
Yes,
converting into gray. I don't know what you call it that.
Exactly.
I have to say though, someone like Ray Dalio, which I really respect.
Right.
I think his book really saved me a lot. Principles. I read that before the financial crash during the recent COVID stuff.
Yeah.
I literally pulled some money out of my investment account just because of reading that book. So, and I did not know COVID was going to happen when that happened. But people like Ray Dalio, Robert Kawasaki are literally following that now. And they're saying the same thing. Is that the face of money hasn't changed for a while. And it's been done intentionally that way so that the control of the system or the people is there. But now we have an innovative technology that says money, the use of money, the face of money, how we use money, the transparency of money, should be changed so that we can better, we still want to end poverty. That's the goal of the World Bank.
Absolutely.
But all these years since World War II, we've not ended in poverty. Bitcoin, it's a lot more transparent that you can see what's going on, right? So
absolutely. I mean, you're right about it, because the distribution of wealth right now on Earth is it's just unacceptable. I don't know what would be the right word for it, but it's the distribution of wealth across the world right now is not helping anyone improve their quality of life. Right.
We talked about this yesterday, right?
Right.
Billionaire CEOs.
Yeah.
And the engineers of that billionaire of that $1 billion.
Yeah.
Where do they stand in that equation?
We're in the equation of wealth distribution.
Yeah.
There is this formula that is used to measure wealth inequality.
Yeah.
Right. I forgot the name of that formula. But I think America right now is like 30 something on that formula, where 100 means that one person has all of the money in the society, right? And then from there it just kind of slowly dwindles. And America is in a place that does not even make sense. It's pretty high up there. Now, I think that it is fine. I'm not talking about, let's be all in a socialistic type of environment. However, what I'm talking about is just compassionate capitalism. I think that people can be extremely rich as they want to be, without hurting others. That is the problem we're having right now. The fact that we have people hurting others to be rich. Let's go to something horrible like gold mining. Gold mining companies, right? They show up to a couple African countries where they go to mine gold, and they show up there and they mine the gold and they sell it for extremely, for exorbitant amounts overseas, right? I don't think it would be an issue if you paid the people who are working in those gold mines a reasonable wage where they can live like normal human beings, and still, I think those companies will be able to pocket massive profits, right? So, I would ask, why is it that other people have to suffer in order for other people to make profits? When you look at CEOs around the world and things like that, they have this practice that you have to maximize profits, right? You have to keep pushing for the maximum amount of profit you can get, even at the detriment of society, right? And this is what Harvard and Yale is pumping out.
Yeah.
Greedy people.
Stanford.
Right? Stanford as well. Greedy, inconsiderate, and what else not. Their actions are doing this. I don't know these people personally, but I'm talking about their actions, and their actions speak for themselves. Yep. I don't need to know them. We can see the result of their work, right? And I don't know how Yale or Harvard or any of those groups can be proud about what they're producing out there. But, this is just... Look, Bitcoin has utility, liquidity, the consumption. Well, let's talk about consumption. You can use it for consumption. You can use it for transaction, right? Yeah. The production of it is also very, valuable. It's proof of work, right? Which means that you have to expend energy in order to create
And
in order to create value.
it goes exactly to what you just explained right now. It's production,
Right.
but during that production process, not because you produce it, you get 0.0001% of what you produce. You get exactly what you produce, right? And
Yeah.
this is where also Bitcoin is separate from Ethereum, because the transaction fees on Ethereum makes no sense.
Exactly. Hey man, listen. I like to pay $60 to pay a $5 transaction. You know what I'm saying? This is the future, bro. Don't
This
you
is
get
what
it?
set, this is one of the big things that set Bitcoin apart from cryptocurrencies. Those transaction
Exactly.
fees, production
It is the most
just off.
exactly.
It's
So it is the most secure long-term store of value, right? When you store of value means that when you store your value there, it's supposed to maintain value or go up in value. This is the whole reason why gold is out there in the first place, right? Now, when you look at the dollar, I don't think we can call it a store of value at this time. I think the dollar right now is actually a waste of value, I guess. If you're storing your money in the dollar, it's losing its value at 7.5% is the official rate right now, which is much more higher than that for sure.
There's that diagram out there that shows you a US dollar and how it has depreciated over the years.
Over
in 30
years.
years alone.
Yeah, absolutely. So these things, I mean, how do you solve this, or how is Bitcoin solving this, right? And most importantly, one thing you have to pay attention to is that every other cryptocurrency is sort of fighting for the same use case, right? But we already have the original deal, right? Exactly. We already have the original deal, and it's working extremely well. So it would almost seem that a lot of these cryptocurrencies out here are distractions, and they're definitely regulations, that's for sure, right? And for them to get regulations, it will be regulated under the same entities that we're trying to
fix,
if you will, right? Now, last but not least,
how do you fix something with the problem?
Exactly. It's like you're taking the new stuff and giving it to the same guys who broke the old one and saying, hey, let's fix this. And it does not work that way. Terra Luna recently bought actually $10 billion worth of Bitcoin. Your favorite cryptocurrency owns more Bitcoin than you do. I don't know if I need to say anything else about that one, but you know,
talking about I don't like Bitcoin, I just buy Terra.
Yeah,
Guess
just
what? Guess
it was
what?
like, oh yeah, you're Terra Luna over Bitcoin. Well, Terra Luna owns more Bitcoin than you, so what the fuck are you talking about? Anyway, Bitcoin moves third-party intermediaries. Just want to recap on this as we already touched on it, right? So Bitcoin moves those third-party intermediaries from the cash system. So banks will probably be under threat by this because now you're your own bank. Bitcoin takes money out of the hands of governments and allow them to govern.
People need to keep asking themselves this question, right?
Absolutely.
What is the role of governments in the community? And I think we've far removed ourselves from that. A lot of it is because people are born into the current systems, but when you educate yourself, you can start asking those questions. Is the government responsible for this? Should the government be doing this? Is the government stepping too much into your private life? For example, they want to know what's going on in your personal bank accounts.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's too far. It's unacceptable. I don't think that should be allowed. And of course, this is why, man, dude. You know me, man. I'm like halfway to the Bitcoin standard right now. It's a matter of, you know what I mean? Just say the word, man, and I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? Because this is not acceptable. I think you come into this world a sovereign human being, right? I don't think that it is up to other people to force themselves into your personal business. So that is just what that is. Now, we also know Bitcoin removes the centralized control of money by big banks. We've touched on this, but the other thing is that cryptocurrencies, so I guess we're looking at the flip side of this, cryptocurrencies need the banking systems and hedge funds and venture capital, right? And Bitcoin, you know, look, we could all just disappear today and Bitcoin will still be running, right? And we can see this because Jack Dorsey, right, former CEO of Twitter, CEO of Square as well, and Cash App, right, now decided to
all that big
Twitter,
money, all that big money transactory systems.
Exactly, right? And this is someone who has been in the system, and this is someone that if you're going to listen about what Bitcoin is, this is someone that I would say is extremely credible. So Jack Dorsey made a tweet not too long ago. I think this is December 20th, 2021. You don't own Web3, he says. the VCs and their liquidity providers do, it will never escape their incentives. It's ultimately a centralized entity with a different label. Know what you're getting into. This is very interesting because if you look at almost any cryptocurrency out there,
Metaverse, Web 3.0,
Exactly.
DeFi.
they all say they are decentralized. And we know one thing for sure. The lie detector determined that is a freaking lie. Okay? They're not decentralized. As a matter of fact, a lot of these things are what you already know wrapped in shiny paper.
No, whoa. I still a strong believer in the change of the protocol of the technology of a possible way to peer-to-peer the current technologies that we have now. But at the end of the day, it's an improved technology with still central control.
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, man, I think that anything can happen. Anything can be adjusted. Okay, if they want a blockchain setup, right, that is centrally controlled, let's call it that. We're just taking the current system we have and we're putting it on the blockchain. Nothing changes. It is what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Bitcoin is the change that we're aiming for. It is the one that changes the way we operate as a people. It's the one that changes the monetary system. It's the one that puts every government under threat if they do not act the right way. I never see Ethereum doing that because it can be shut down.
Can I say this one more time?
Right?
Bitcoin is not about making money.
Yeah.
It's about your freedom. Right?
It's massive.
What is the purpose of making a ton of money or having improved technology when you still don't have your freedom? Just think about it.
Well, all you have is to be free to be broke is what it is what I'll say. Right? So I think that is something that definitely needs to be really dived into by really everyone, because everyone uses money, right? So that's very important. Now, Bitcoin plays a positive role in the reduction of carbon emissions by using wasted energy for mining. I know that this is something that a lot of people are probably not going to agree with us on this one, but please, I invite you to take a moment to just read about it and let's talk about it in the comments. If you think that Bitcoin is hurting the environment, link some articles down below or whatever research you find that shows that Bitcoin is actually deleterious to the environment as we know it, because we can tell you right now that in energy production, right, there is a lot of waste of energy. We can also tell you that right now Bitcoin is using the most cleanest energy out there and is continuously growing. Bitcoin is using energy, wasted energy, right, from refineries and things like that to mine this Bitcoin. As a result, this energy, this emissions are not being, sent out there, which is just making the situation worse. Making
guess what?
What would you call it? What do they call this thing again? Reducing our carbon footprint.
Carbon.
Right?
Yeah. And guess
Exactly.
what? America is number one when it comes
This is true. America is number one in the renewable energies and mining Bitcoin. We know that they're using hydro power. We know that they're using wind power, right? As a matter of fact, they're going to these places where they can find cheap energy. As you know, it's mind blowing to me, and I think that we all need to understand this, because I think society is confused as heck right now. Everyone says the media cannot be trusted, yet everyone will quote articles from the same not trustworthy media to prove their point. Right? So, and we know that the media has been pushing out a lot of articles saying that Bitcoin is essentially going to get us to the point where Earth will just disintegrate, right, from global warming.
But then you ask yourself, who controls the media? Who owns the media? The folks that are currently at threat because of Bitcoin, the old money.
Listen, you cannot win a battle if you do not understand your opponent. And I think that this is what we're trying to do here. We just want to ask you guys to take a time out to understand what the problem is, what is happening right now, and then ask yourself, how can Bitcoin resolve this? And if it does not resolve it for you, let us know. Because it's moving to me seeing how much of a block some people have with getting out of the current financial system. Almost like it's nature.
You know, it's nature. Nature does say that for human beings, change is the most difficult thing. So we should expect this. We're not expecting you to just change tomorrow and just adopt Bitcoin. It's going to take you a while, but it's perfectly fine. But the question is, ask a question. The question is, ask a question. Why
Ask
is
the
everybody
questions.
talking about Bitcoin? Why are people saying that it's fraudulent? Why is people saying that it's not good for the environment? Once you start asking those questions and you digging further, you'll be like, oh, now I understand why these people are doing this.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'll actually say go look for why Bitcoin is bad, and then go from there. Now, I also point out one more thing when we talk about monetary policy and money printing. Bitcoin is totally capped at 21 millions. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins. This is hard money, right? When you have a limited supply of something, the value of that thing holds its place over time, and the value of that thing will only increase as people find it appealing, and it will drop if people do not find it appealing. This is how value should be created in society. If society thinks something is valuable, they would invest into it, and if they don't think it's valuable, then they get rid of it. With the fiat system, there is no value of rip. Okay, it's fiat in the word itself.
There is value.
Bro, there's no value. Bro, there's no value in fiat because
let me explain the value.
Go ahead.
For the people out there, the value that we have in the current fiat system is our military system and our economy. That's the value that has been created. But to protect the economy, we need the military system. But in the case of Bitcoin, you do not need military to protect. You don't need tons of weapons and all these factories and equipment to protect the fiat. That's what makes Bitcoin separate from the fiat. Is that it's just mathematical equations that just does its job.
I see what you're saying.
Cutting you off.
No. I see what you're saying there, and I see your point, and I agree. The military is important. I think that the military is proof of work.
Yes.
It is proof that the US is willing to defend everything that it stands for and what it's building.
Yes.
That is proof of work. The same way, Bitcoin is proof of work. It's proof that you have bought a mining machine, you've spent energy, time, and everything else to defend what Bitcoin is, to build Bitcoins. That is totally fine. That is value.
That's the value.
When we talk about fiat, okay, we're talking about a store of value. We're talking about something that represents work, right? So, if you print money, a bunch of money, which is not backed by anything. This is the point where I say it is not backed by anything. It's valueless. It is money by decree. It's literally, fiat. That's what fiat means.
Yeah.
So, in that case, I can take this piece of paper, and if you all agree that this paper is valuable, I can buy a battleship with it. So, while the military is definitely great, it's useful, it's proof of work, it's incredible, the military is dead. Okay? Because we're all having to pay for this through our tax dollars because of money that someone printed out of thin air. So no matter how much you work, right, you would never ever be able to
get ahead,
recover the lost value from printing papers that mean nothing. So what sort of accounting is that?
That's the best explanation you can give people the reason why we have recessions and inflations. Because you have money, and the money is supposed to be spent on certain amount of resources. But when you have too much of the money, then the resources like,
when you have too much money that comes from no value created,
exactly.
Yes, you know what I mean? Because look, printing money, we can all print money, right? We can all fire up a printer and print money. It's called counterfeiting. The government can do it, and it's called quantitative easing. Okay? What is the difference? Because both situations are devaluing the dollar, right? Yes, you now have this military that is very strong, but you're unable to afford proper health care for your soldiers when they come back home. I mean, there are people who are fighting wars. Here in America, we're homeless. That is an insult. No one who ever served in the U.S. military should be homeless.
No,
but that's the
never.
situation we're dealing with. You see what I'm saying? And I think we have to fix the money to fix that problem.
Just decentralize the control of the money.
Exactly. Well, look, man, let's wrap up this show here, Double O, because we can go on this one forever, and it's beautiful. I really enjoyed this. Look, you cannot print any more Bitcoin than there is. Okay, we'll definitely clarify that one. And this makes that fixed supply cap something that forces government to have to adjust their spending habits and live within a budget. This is the basics of finances. When you start learning about finances, right? They tell you make a budget.
Control your budgets.
Control your budget.
Know how
Live
much
within
is
your
coming
budget.
in, how much is going out.
This is how rich people get rich, right? Isn't that what we all hear? They have a
Sure.
budget, they manage their money properly, spend less than you make, right? Store more than you spend. What are we missing here? All we're saying is let the government do that as well. And everything will be great. Bitcoin can allow us to do this. Do you understand the difference? It's the question we'll ask with this one as we close this one out here, right? Let us know in the comments. What do you think? Do you think it's all bullshit? Right?
Yeah, actually, you know what? Say it. Just put in the comments. BS.
Do you think it's all bullshit? Let us know in the comments, man. This is absolutely amazing. And if you would like to see more of this, ladies and gentlemen, please let us know. We're always happy to do this. It's always exciting to learn. I think we're living through an incredible time. And I think one of the reasons why I'm really happy that we're doing this channel is that we get to document this change in our lifetime. Any final words, sir?
Bitcoin is freedom.
I mean, what else is there to say? That's the one. Look, ladies and gentlemen, please do not forget to follow us on our social media handles. Handles are down below. We also have some links in the description if you would like to check those out. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share the videos with your friends. Until next time, Brazen out.
00.